It's Monday, December 23. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The Women's Center in Morant Bay, St. Thomas will soon boast a new nursery, and the building will be named in honor of Miss World Toni-Ann Singh. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, made the announcement before Ms. Singh's tour of St. Thomas over the weekend.
Tomorrow, Toni-Ann will journey again to St. Thomas for a short tour, which will begin at Yala Square. Then from Yala Square, she will make a stop at the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation, St. Thomas Center. This is her special project where she has adopted that particular center, which assists teenage mothers and pregnant teenage girls and girls who have either been sexually abused and got pregnant, or girls who have experimented and have gotten pregnant. And she has taken that on in a very personal way.
Singh, who won the Miss World crown last Saturday, has made it known that her passion is to help young women, in particular young mothers.
It's interesting that in my own family history, I am the descendant of two women that had children during their teenage years. And I've seen them stress the importance of education to their children, who then have, they're sitting right in front of you, and they have instilled in me the importance of creating opportunities, right, and grasping them really and taking them for what they're worth when it comes to education, when it comes to music. And I'm grateful for that, but I realize that there are so many awesome women in Bath and all over Jamaica and all over the world that have the same capabilities I have, and they don't have the opportunities, and they might not have the parents that I've had that are so willing or so able to make those capabilities into opportunities. So here I am now trying to make sure that I become, if I can, the difference for these women.
Chairman of the Miss World organization, Julia Morley, described Singh as a talented young woman with a star quality that landed her the crown.
But talking about Miss World, they all loved her. We can't give you a reason. We can only tell you it was meant to be because she behaved beautifully like all the other girls. She spoke beautifully like all the other girls. But there was some magic in her. The magic in her was she was true to herself. And this is what matters. She was proud to be Jamaican. She was proud to share everything. For a whole month we shared together. Now everybody wanted to be with her. Why? Because she has stardom. She has a way to get across and use her wisdom that God's given her to help other people. She didn't just think of herself, she was looking for helping other people. So you've got a gem, you've got a precious, precious human being, and we should all look after her, and we should try and nurture that amongst other Jamaican women.
Meanwhile, Morant Bay Mayor Michael Hughes says he will be lobbying for a street in the parish to be named after Miss World Toni-Ann Singh. Singh, who hails from Bath, St. Thomas, is the fourth Jamaican to be crowned Miss World. Scores of St. Thomas residents excitedly welcomed the 23-year-old to her home parish on the weekend. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett is optimistic about the increase in cruise ship arrivals come next year. He pointed to the inaugural visit in May of the world's largest cruise ship, Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas. In an interview with the Jamaica Gleaner, he said the country should generate some US $3.7 billion in tourism earnings for 2019, and total arrivals are looking equally promising. According to the minister, Jamaica earned $3.3 billion in 2018 from the arrival of 4.3 million visitors. He also said the island's room stock is expected to double the current 33,000 in the next 10 years. Another 30 families have secured their homes after being presented with certificates of title to their own homes by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The handovers were made last Wednesday to homeowners from Greater Portmore. They received their documents during a ceremony at the Greater Portmore Open Bible Church in St. Catherine. Prime Minister Andrew Holness told the beneficiaries that their titles empower them to enhance their social and financial standing.
You now have ownership in law. You can pass it on to your family, to your children. You can take loans on it if you so desire for a further advancement of the family. Or you could just rest in peace knowing that the hard work and sacrifice is now in your hand or in your safe.
Mr. Holness noted that it was as a result of restructuring operations within the National Housing Trust, NHT, and the Housing Agency of Jamaica, HAJ, including the turnover of the HAJ's mortgage portfolio to the NHT, which facilitated the release of the recipients' titles. In the meantime, the Prime Minister said that come next year, the government will rapidly increase the number of housing solutions coming to the market.
But next year, we have another program that is going to come that will rapidly increase the number of housing solutions coming to market. What we will do in Bernard Lodge, what we will do in St. Thomas and in other areas of the country will rapidly expand housing. And then we have to now reclaim the communities in Kingston to make them attractive again for people to live in.
Mustard Seed Communities will serve hot meals to 6,000 senior citizens and children across 10 communities on Christmas Day. A convoy comprising vehicles from MSC and the Jamaica Defence Force, escorted by the police, will begin distribution of cooked meals and stuffed toys from 7:30 a.m. in Almontown, Gold Street, Trenchtown, National Hero Circle, St. William Grants Park, Olympic Way, Mahoe Drive, Riverton City, Rima, and Fletcher's Land. A news release from the non-profit organization said that a number of diplomats will be among the 200 volunteers of soldiers, MSC staff, and relatives of MSC employees and residents of various communities served by the Mustard Seed community. Support has also come from the Culture, Health, Arts, and Sports and Education Fund. Mustard Seed Communities has embarked on this feeding program for the last 23 years. Event organizers are being warned against using the extension of the cutoff time for parties and other activities to raise sound levels. Head of the police's Community Safety and Security Branch, Assistant Commissioner of Police Elon Powell, said that an event can be shut down if amplified sound can be heard more than 100 meters from the venue and causes annoyance to people in the vicinity. The House of Representatives recently approved a temporary amendment to the Noise Abatement Act to extend the shut-off time for events from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. on weekends and from midnight to 2 a.m. during the week. The measure will remain in place until January 31, 2020. The Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport has signed a deed that will establish a trust fund for the benefit of victims of the Coral Gardens debacle. 56 years ago, the police and soldiers detained Rastafarians in Coral Gardens, St. James. The deed was signed at the ministry's offices located on Trafalgar Road in Kingston on Thursday, December 19. In April 2017, Prime Minister Andrew Holness apologized for what took place on behalf of the government. During his apology, the Prime Minister committed to establishing a trust fund of no less than $10 million for victims of the Coral Gardens incident. The amount was recommended by the Office of the Public Defender, which started an investigation into the incident in May 2011. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange said signing the deed is the government's way of making right to a wrong. A 54-year-old woman has been charged with breaches of the Dangerous Drugs Act. The police discovered a $4 million worth of cocaine in her luggage at the Norman Mann International Airport last week. Valsina Soglam, a cook of Kingston 13 address, was charged with possession of cocaine, dealing in cocaine, and attempting to export cocaine. The police said Soglam is scheduled to appear before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Tuesday, December 24. The US dollar on Friday, December 20, ended trading at 133 Jamaican dollars 53 cents, up by $2. That's according to the Bank of Jamaica's daily exchange trading summary. The Canadian dollar ended trading at 100 Jamaican dollars 43 cents, down from $101.63, while the British pound sterling ended trading at $178.11, up from $177.29. In regional news, 79 non-violent offenders across the Caribbean will be home for Christmas. In the spirit of Christmas, Food for the Poor has paid the fines of the offenders. Many were arrested for stealing to feed their families or for something that would be considered a minor offense. For more than 2 decades, Food for the Poor has honored the tradition of freeing non-violent offenders from prisons in Guyana, Haiti, Honduras and Jamaica by paying their fines in time for Christmas. In other regional news, Cuba has appointed its first prime minister in more than 40 years. The tourism minister, Manuel Marrero Cruz, was appointed by President Miguel Diaz-Canel. The post of prime minister was scrapped back in 1976 by the then revolutionary leader Fidel Castro. It was reinstated under the rules of a new constitution for the communist-run island passed earlier this year. According to the BBC, Mr. Marrero, 56, will take on some of the responsibilities that currently fall to the president. In sports, family, friends, teammates and well-wishers gathered on Sunday to say goodbye to national senior women's footballer Tarania Clarke, who passed away in October. The funeral took place in the auditorium of the Excelsior High School, her alma mater, which she led to 3 ISA school girls football titles and from which she graduated from last June. The Mountain View community where she grew up turned out to honor Clarke, who was said to be on the verge of greater aspirations in football. Among those who came to pay their respects were Jamaica Football Federation President Michael Ricketts, national school and club teammates, as well as members of Parliament Favour Williams and Anthony Hilton. That's the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.